she is my other co-workers, and she bring some things to my boss. But first, something happened when we are here on the video. So, hola amigos, muy buenas, bienvenidos nuevamente a mi canal. Hoy les compartí hace unos días que íbamos a entrevistar a mi jefe, quien es Mr. John Terry. So now I try to introduce my Mr. boss, Mr. Terry. He is my boss, and now we are talking some items or some questions about the Hispanic culture, about his life, about everything he can talk here. So I have some items here on my sheet. So sometimes I will see here, but all the time I'm here. I'm hearing here. I'm hearing. I'm hearing. I'm hearing. I'm hearing. Right. I'm hearing him. Okay. Lo que estaba tratando de decirles es que hoy lo estoy entrevistando. Vamos a hacer algunas preguntas acerca de diferentes temas de la cultura hispana, de su vida, de cantidad de cosas, y no quiero que se me olvide absolutamente nada. Entonces, algunas veces voy a mirar hacia acá, pero todo el tiempo lo voy a estar escuchando. Voy a tratar de hablar en español y en inglés al mismo tiempo, pero realmente mi inglés no es 100% fluido. Entonces, si escuchan que cometo algún error, lo siento, pero bueno, I'm trying to improve my English. Pero voy a tratar de hacer mi mejor esfuerzo por tratar de explicarles a ustedes en inglés y en español. So, let's do it. This is like a interviewing with my American boss. So, this is my boss, Mr. Terry. He is the owner here, Georgia, about the DUI school. Él es el dueño del DUI school. But Mr. Terry, welcome to my channel. Welcome to here to talk with all the people here. It's very good time to see you here with me. So thank you, and I really appreciate that you are here.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope I can give some information that will be useful to you and anybody else who's watching.
Nice. So, Mr. Terry, tell me about your history. Who is Mr. John Terry? I try to talk in Spanish and in English because okay. This is a Spanish channel. So, ahora le estoy preguntando acerca de su historia.
Okay. Well, I'm a American guy born way back in the 60s when things were not, we didn't have anything like we have now. Mm-hmm. In a very small town. I went to school at a very small college, Bruton Parker, and then later went to University of Georgia, and I have a master's degree in social work. I worked in fields, picking tobacco and unloading trucks and doing very manual labor. After I worked my way through school, it's just hard work all the way. And once I had got a degree, I'm interested in doing counseling and therapy and trying to basically improve the world.
Oh, okay.
So I started working with people who had medical problems and psychiatric problems, and doing counseling with them, and just doing a number of things. And later in life, I had a retail store where I sold hair, pelos. That went well. And we started doing these DUI schools in 2010. It's 2020. Oh. So 10 years we've been doing this. We have locations here, and one in Hinesville and soon to be in Waycross also. So we'll have 3 cities. We also have a company that supplies social workers to hospitals. So just A number of things.
Okay. How did you start like a social workers, Mr. Terry? Tell me about the experience working with the people.
Okay. Well, I started in social work because I was working at a facility for substance abuse in Atlanta, and social workers came through, and they were the therapists, which I thought about social workers as working in family and children services and those kind of places. And except these social workers were doing marriage, not family counseling. They were doing the alcohol and drug counseling, group therapy, individual therapy, things like that. I was very interested in doing it. And one of them gave me information on how to get the correct education to do that. Working with the people in social work has been a large variety of things. Working with some people in the medical, sometimes you work with people who are sick and dying, or who have gone through some tragic medical things, or people that need help in everything from simple to getting food, getting proper medical care, getting housing, and mental health, and adjusting to having medical problems. In the mental health aspect of it, we have people who have problems with emotional issues, being depressed or suicidal, or just having to adjust to life. Life throws some difficult things at you. You have to, sometimes it's difficult to adjust to them.
Ok. La pregunta que le hice ahora fue cómo empezó como trabajador social y que me contara acerca de su experiencia con la gente. Y él está mencionando que empezó para tratar de ayudar a la gente con cantidad de traumas y dificultades, tanto de comida, tanto de adicciones. Entonces se fue metiendo en todo ese gremio y bueno, ha tratado de ayudar, y así empezó pues su escuela. How did you start in your DUI school, Mr. Terry? How, when? You told us that like
2010. 2010 is when I started. I didn't really know that much about DUI schools. A friend of my mother had one, and I wasn't working. I had decided I would retire. I was 47, so I was going around the world fishing. And I got a little bored with that, so I just wanted to do something very part-time, and it's grown now, so no more retirement for me.
Ok. So, la pregunta que le hice fue ¿hace cuánto empezó su DUI school? Y bueno, ya él empezó en 2010. 2010, so tiene 10 años con este DUI School. Y para que nos ven, el DUI School es como un brazo del tránsito. Cuando te agarran con alcohol, con adicciones, con cantidad de cosas, tienes que venir aquí a tomar un requerimiento que, valga la redundancia, requiere el DDE, que es el Departamento de Tránsito acá, en este estado de Georgia, pero el DDE regula todo el país, todo Estados Unidos. Entonces tienes que venir aquí a tomar un curso. Pero aparte, el DUI School ofrece tratamiento para personas con adicciones. Eso es lo que básicamente se dedica el DUI School, que es la entidad con la que yo me encuentro trabajando. Mr. Terry, do you work with the people with any addiction, right? Can them to get some help with these problems,
Yes, there's lots of help. Addictionology or addiction studies is still a rather new science. So as years go by, we learn more and more on how to treat addiction. Right now, I don't think there's a great medical, like the medicine or anything to take, but it can be treated successfully. So people can get better. It takes a commitment from the individual who wants to get better to go through what it takes. And sometimes it's some difficulty adjusting life to being drug-free and alcohol-free.
Okay. La pregunta que le hice fue acerca de cómo las personas podían recibir ayudas acerca de las adicciones, y entonces él dice que pueden existir diferentes frentes de ayuda, depende de lo que se vaya a tratar. Problemas con adicciones, problemas con psicológicos, entre muchas cosas, dependiendo pues de lo que se vaya a tratar, así se recibe pues la ayuda de lo social. All the people or people in Colombia, they believe the American people just work all the time. What do you think about that, Mr. Terry? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have free time? Tell me about that.
Well, while it's not true probably about most Americans, it may be true about me. I do work a lot, but most people don't. Most people work 40 hours, 40 hours a week. I tend to work almost every day because I just enjoy what I do. I do take a lot of time to myself, and I still travel a lot, and I'm in Belize and Dominican Republic and all over the United States and in other countries. However, since the pandemic's been around, I haven't gone very far from home, trying to be safe. But working is how people identify themselves. If somebody says, tell me something about yourself, you're saying, in my case, I'm a social worker, I'm a business owner. People associate themselves with work. In some places, people might associate themselves with hobbies, saying, oh, I like boating or fishing or hunting, I'm a hunter. But I think most American people associate themselves with their job as part of their character and the person that they are.
Oh, okay.
But we work a lot, I guess, but I don't know if we work more than anybody else.
But your work is atypical because you are the owner, you have your word, everything. You have to work a lot, but you have your free time too, right?
Yes, definitely.
La pregunta que le hice fue que normalmente nosotros en Colombia, y yo creo que la mayoría de los latinos pensamos que solamente en Estados Unidos se trabaja, y que los americanos, y él entiende bastante español, los americanos no se divierten. Entonces yo le preguntaba que si eso es cierto o no, y él me responde que depende. Él trabaja muchísimo porque él es dueño de una compañía, también trabaja para otras compañías, entonces sí trabaja muchísimo, pero también tiene mucho tiempo para tomar sus hobbies, para poder hacer sus hobbies. Pesca, adicionalmente a eso, le gusta andar en bote, le gusta viajar, y entonces cuenta de algunos países que ha visitado, como República Dominicana y otras cosas. Entonces, que depende de lo que tú quieras hacer y en lo que te quieras convertir. Él sí trabaja mucho porque es el dueño de su compañía. Entonces, realmente es relativo que solamente aquí se trabaja y se trabaja y se trabaja. Well, in this channel, Mr. Terry, I try to inspire to other people, Hispanic people, about the different items, right? So, Mr. Terry, what is your experience working with Hispanic people? What was your experience working with me?
Okay. Well, I have one of my first employee probably is Miss Olga, who is I think she's Mexican American and part Native American. My experience working with her has been pleasant, and she's very intelligent. I haven't really, as far as there's kind of two different things when we look at this. We talk about people who have been born here. And in my case, I worked with somebody who was from Mexico, Puerto Rico, and two people from Puerto Rico, and now you're the first person I think I've ever met from Colombia. But I haven't had a really different experience. It's been pleasant, but it's when a person is coming, like newly immigrated to America, the I think the culture is more shocking to the person who's coming. Most Americans here have experienced people from different cultures, and we're a place where there's a lot of different cultures come together. The language sometimes is a barrier, even if people speak English in different parts of the country, and formal English is different from maybe what we call Southern English. So we're from the South, so sometimes communication is difficult. It's been very pleasant working with you, and we were hoping you wouldn't leave, but you got stuff to do. But working with because I'm thinking about Olga's been with me 8 years, I think.
Wow, a long time.
Yeah. As far as I think maybe cultural barriers is what you're speaking of. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen any real cultural things. I wish I could come up with something that would be helpful, but you come and you do your job and you kind of go home. That's kind of it for everybody, not in any culture. I think the maybe some of the ideas of when I'm not in America, of the people who are saying that they want to come here, is that the belief that everybody makes tons of money.
Okay.
And some people believe they make tons of money, and some people do, but not everybody. And usually, it's a great place to come and work.
Yes.
But it takes time. Usually, it takes time to acclimate to a new place, new people, and how the system works. In every place, the system works a little bit different. And as you adjust, you're able to move up. So as you move up, usually your money gets better and opportunities get better as you meet people and they present opportunities to you.
Thank you. So, básicamente le estaba preguntando o le estaba comentando que en este canal nosotros inspiramos para aprender, los inspiro para aprender, y que esto es como un canal inspirador. Y le estaba preguntando cuál era su experiencia trabajando con gente latina, con gente hispana, y cuál fue su experiencia trabajando conmigo. Y él cuenta que tuvo su primera empleada mexicana, con ella estuvo 9 años, luego estuvo trabajando con 2 puertorriqueñas, ahora acaba de entrar una nueva puertorriqueña y yo he sido la única persona que he trabajado de Colombia. Él dice que es diferente de pronto la cultura, porque la comunicación es diferente a veces, pero que la experiencia básicamente conmigo ha sido buena, y con mis otras compañeras que ya hoy no están, fue una experiencia muy enriquecedora, y que la gente en América Latina quiere venir aquí a trabajar, pero trabajar y trabajar, y se concentran solamente en trabajar. Entonces, que a medida que tú vayas de pronto mejorando tu pensamiento, tus estudios, y quieras crecer, eso va unido con lo que vayas ganando paulatinamente. Básicamente es lo que trata de decir, pero que ha tenido una muy buena experiencia trabajando con hispanos y que hacen un buen trabajo.
I want to say this also, is that working with you and working with people who come from different countries, is you have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about their culture, which is very exciting to me. Some different foods and different traditions. I think that's really nice, and part of life is learning about another person's culture. And at some point, I think people start to, in America, things kind of mix. One culture blends into another. And making a unique experience here in America.
It's true. Él está tratando de decir que también es muy enriquecedor poder trabajar con nosotros, que somos de diferentes culturas hispanas, porque le enseñan acerca de la comida, le enseñan acerca de nuestras costumbres, que es muy enriquecedor para él aprender de pronto de diferentes culturas, y que ha tenido la oportunidad de que nosotros le contemos historia de cómo es la vida en otros países. What do you think about Spanish language, Mr. Terry?
It's hard.
Why?
I don't know one. I mean, I keep trying, and I'll go to Mexico and go where nobody speaks English, and I can get food. I always remember food, but some things I have to translate in my mind from English to Spanish, and some things it's just natural. I don't have to think about, but it's difficult. I think anybody learning a language after they're an adult is a little bit difficult.
I can. It's true. Lo que yo le pregunté es que qué pensaba él acerca de la lengua española, de nuestra lengua hispana o del idioma español. Lo que él dice es que es realmente difícil y que todo el tiempo cuando está tratando de hablar trata de traducir inglés-español. Que le parece una lengua difícil, pero también le parece una lengua muy nice, muy chévere.
Another thing about the Spanish language is if I'm in Guatemala, they speak differently than Mexico. Then if I'm in Dominican Republic, they speak differently. Some of the words are a little bit different. The basic language is the same. So, well, one person may be able to understand me, which I'm poor in either, no matter where my Spanish is poor, but in another country, they may not understand me as well.
Él lo que está diciendo es que a veces de pronto también es difícil porque la gente en Guatemala habla de una manera, la gente de pronto en México, en las otras ciudades, en los otros países es un poco más difícil, pero que lo pueden entender. The police here in the United States, Mr. Terry, are really hard for the Spanish people. Tell me, like an American person, some advice if they will come here to work for companies like yours.
Wait, what's difficult?
The polites here in the United States are really hard for the Spanish people. Tell me, like one person from here, from the United States, tell me some advice if the Hispanic people would like to come here to work for companies like you.
Well, I have 3 or 4 different kinds of companies. How to come here, I'm not sure about, but once you get here, as much as you can, learn the language before you come. Be more English, or if you have somebody on Facebook you can talk to, somebody, if you know people who live there who has immigrated from America to there, try to have as many conversations as possible. But once you get here, getting a job is pretty easy. There's work here. There's money to be made. There's opportunity. But how to get here, getting from where you are, especially with the person that's the president now, he's closed borders for a lot of different countries. So it might be a little bit more difficult right now. But once you're here, getting work, I have construction stuff going on. I have counseling things where people who are bilingual is desired. It's a very good skill to be able to speak English and Spanish. We have Spanish-speaking customers that come here, and which has been an asset that you can speak with them fluently. It's a great thing, but learning the language, I think, is the key. It opens up a lot of doors to you. If people who come here who know no English, many times are taken advantage of.
Yes, it's true.
Because they are not able to communicate, and some are afraid to communicate that they're being taken advantage of by an employer or anybody else in the community who might want to victimize them. So it's important to be able to communicate with English. That's just an important thing.
It's true, like bilingual. Básicamente le estaba preguntando yo o le estaba diciendo de que venir aquí a los Estados Unidos era realmente difícil para nosotros los hispanos porque Estados Unidos tenía unas políticas muy fuertes, pero él dice que cuando una persona viene aquí, lo primero que él, depende de lo que tú quieras. Entonces él lo que dice es que deberían aprender, si tú quieres trabajar de pronto en un trabajo como este que dice que es un trabajo realmente fácil y tú puedes comunicarte, necesitas aprender inglés, o sea, necesitas saber comunicarte, tener algunas reglas básicas de cómo comunicarte, pero hay personas que vienen y no estudian absolutamente nada de inglés y pues se dedican a trabajar en la construcción, en cosas así, igual les va bien, pero de pronto tienen un trabajo muy fuerte porque nunca aprendieron pues otra lengua que es polite, right, polite, how do you pronounce políticas? Polite?
Okay, that's police.
Police. Okay.
Police, but politics. Politica is politics. That's policía.
Oh, okay. Politics. How do you politics? Okay. I say polite. Yes, politics.
Okay.
Porque me estaba corrigiendo la pronunciación de políticas. Entonces, porque dije la palabra mal. Entonces me la escribió bien la pronunciación, pero entendió la pregunta. Básicamente, por ejemplo, con cosas como estas, yo puedo mejorar como mi inglés y esa fue como mi manera de venir aquí y pues getting better my English, o sea, como tener mejor mi inglés, porque yo sí quiero crecer en un mundo, digamos, de compañía. A mí sí me gusta trabajar para compañías, tener experiencias. Yo sí me he preocupado de pronto para aprender el inglés y eso es lo que él trata de decirle a la otra gente. Depende de lo que tú quieras. Si tú eres una persona bilingüe, tienes muchísimas más oportunidades si quieres trabajar de pronto desde un ámbito profesional. Entonces, eso es importante porque muchas personas dicen, pero es que yo traté de ir a Estados Unidos y no pude conseguir trabajo, me tocó limpiar baños, me tocó... Y no es que el trabajo sea desmeritorio, porque aquí el trabajo se paga muy bien en cualquier lugar. Pero si tú quieres tener un trabajo, digamos, en mi caso, de manera profesional, tienes que esforzarte por ser una persona bilingüe. Y ser una persona bilingüe aquí y en cualquier país te abre como las puertas. Eso es lo que él básicamente trata de decir. Politics. Here in the United States, when I came here, I can't believe that there are poor people here. So you are an American person, right? What is the reason? Because in towns like here, are people poor? And what is the message for these people that are thinking that everything is impossible, Mr. Terry?
First, you say, why are there poor people? And there's many reasons. I was born, so I was a poor people. So I was very poor.
Oh, tell us about your history. It's really cool to hear that.
I was born where there actually, when we say America, and sometimes we look at two Americas, we look at what we call Black America is different, and also the people who are of Latino descent may be different experience from white America, you know. But our history is that in America we were enslaved. Okay. So the history that came before me were when people were enslaved, they had nothing. So when it was over, they still had nothing. So it's sometimes difficult as far as a Black American, to go from having nothing to getting an opportunity is one thing, and then being able to go through the system to get money, power, respect, those kind of things. So it's a little bit difficult. So when I was a young person, there was hardly any Black people that had money. It was just, you were born, you were probably looking at what we call farm hands. So when I was a young person, I was a farm hand. I was $1 or $2 a day, working in the fields. And it's just it was just that way. As time went on, some opportunities opened up for some people. But still the legacy of that, people being impoverished, kind of goes from generation to generation. The same groups of people who have money continue to have money and have control of opportunities. And the people who don't have money have less opportunities. there's also things like addiction, lack of education, just all kinds of things that when you're born kind of at a disadvantage, you continue to be at that disadvantage throughout life unless something's happened that you would have to do something, both individually and society has to do something to help you go from being very poor to being middle income or very well educated and things like that. My particular experience is that some opportunities were given to me and I took advantage of them. People say that I work for myself or that I'm a self-made person, but every opportunity that I have, someone else either told me about it or helped me along or encouraged me. Nobody does anything, I think, by themselves. I think as a group, if you're down, or as a person, if you're down, it's good to have somebody to try to, give you a hand to pull you up a little bit or to open the door and show you, it's up to you whether you take advantage, but you need somebody to kind of help you along sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Does that explain it pretty good?
Yes.
Not only for people of color, any person. And I think we've tried with this company. I think we have people who work for this company have been Black, white, biracial, Latino, everything, Native American, Asian. Everybody's probably from most places that you can come from. So I try to be a great opportunity for other people, but I'm a small company, so
it's not like a very, very small company because we have 3.
Yeah, well, we have several things going on now. We have some construction stuff going on. We have a social work consulting business, the DUI schools, and one more thing I forget. I still have interest in a beauty supply store.
And you have other business in Belize too?
No, that one's at a restaurant. That one did not.
It's different, like a social work.
Yeah, things are different. That one did not. Wasn't. It didn't work. So we'll try again after this whole pandemic thing. So.
Okay. Lo que le pregunté fue que cuando yo llegué aquí y muchas personas como yo pensábamos que realmente aquí en Estados Unidos no existía gente pobre, no existía gente sin casa, no existía gente en la calle y cuando yo llegué a este pueblo, yo actualmente vivo en Brunswick, Georgia, es un pueblo muy pequeño, encontré que aquí había mucha gente sin casa y aquí en Estados Unidos se llama homeless. Entonces yo quedé muy impactada con que existiera gente pobre, si aquí hay una cantidad de oportunidades. Él mismo lo decía, tú puedes trabajar en cualquier cosa y vas a ganar dinero, o sea, vas a poder trabajar de pronto en un restaurante, vas a poder trabajar haciendo construcción, vas a poder trabajar de pronto de manera profesional en una oficina o para compañías de manera profesional. Digamos de manera profesional que si tienes una profesión y la ejerces, porque tú puedes ser el dueño de tu propia compañía de construcción y eso también es un trabajo a nivel profesional porque lo haces con toda tu profesión, con lo que tú sabes hacer. Pero digamos que en este campo me refiero de pronto a las personas que quieren trabajar con compañías ejerciendo la profesión que estudiaron o en la que se han enfocado. Y él decía que realmente aquí básicamente existen la gente que tiene mucho dinero y la gente que tiene poco dinero. Y yo creo que eso es muy parecido a lo que nosotros actualmente vivimos en Latinoamérica. La gente que tiene mucho dinero controla de pronto que toda su plata esté con ellos mismos y tienen más oportunidades. Y la gente pobre que no tiene muchas oportunidades o que tiene pocas oportunidades, pues se quedan ahí en sus pocas oportunidades y no ven que la realidad cambia. Y se quedan pues inmergidos o sumergidos en adicciones, en las calles. Entonces no cambian su realidad porque básicamente no cambian sus pensamientos y se quedan ahí. Él es una historia de pronto que cambió la perspectiva de lo que debería ser Norteamérica, porque primero es negro y ustedes saben que aquí se vive o se vivió un problema muy grande de racismo. Entonces de pronto personas como él carecía, para toda la gente toda la gente de raza negra carecerían de oportunidades. Sin embargo, él cambió la historia, pues nació en una familia pobre, él acaba de contar su historia, nació en una familia pobre y él quiso cambiar la historia de su familia, cambió radicalmente, estudió una profesión, le regaló una casa a su mamá, cambió la historia y la perspectiva, o sea, rompió todas esas barreras que mentalmente la gente nos ponemos. No pensó que por ser negro no iba a tener oportunidades, no dejó de estudiar, no dejó de crear compañías, no dejó, al contrario, nos da oportunidades porque su compañía le ha abierto las puertas a muchas otras culturas, en este caso, por ejemplo, yo y todas las personas que hemos trabajado aquí. Y él decía que es una compañía pequeña y realmente no es una compañía pequeña, tiene 3 sedes, tiene otras 2 en construcción, tiene un negocio en Belize que no tiene que ver con el DUI, pero sí tiene que ver con restaurante y comida. O sea, realmente él es un ejemplo de que todo en la vida se puede. Me encanta eso que acaba de decir y todo está pues en la mente. Mr. Terry, for the end, tell me something about the racial problems for the old people that are seeing this video.
Um, well, here in America, most people get along fine. But there are people, and most of them are older people, who are accustomed to things being one way, meaning one group of people having all the power. And a lot of the older people were used to that. The younger people who they're not very open to that. And the police officers and the older people, and they're just used to getting away with doing anything to Black people or Latino people. They, you can see them being killed or shot, and then the police don't do anything. It appears that that's not, they're not happy about that, and they're willing to do something. They will. More justice is being done. People are actually protesting against injustice. But in general, people get along. I mean, I don't want people to think they're going to come here and be done wrong because of their race, or that people are going to be shooting at them and that kind of thing. For the most part, people get along fine. However, there are groups. There's something called, it's a little bit complicated, called institutional racism, which has to do with, if you're in power, you can control people. You can control how wealth is passed on or distributed. You can control whether or not a person has a job. You can control whether or not who gets into school. Power is not really balanced. If it's mostly white people now who have power because they have money, and they have positions. Now things are changing as time has gone on. Things have gotten better, and I hope it continues to get better. For the most part, though, people pretty much enjoy each other, and we have different cultures because we have people from all over the world, and then we have something called American culture, stuff that we all share. There is, like I said, there's all kinds of problems with the thing that causes most of the problem is distribution of wealth, meaning one group has a lot of money and a lot of things, and if we were to ride down the street like back here, which is almost a 100% Black neighborhood, you would see that all the wealth in this town, that the people who are living down that street probably ain't getting a lot of money. And there's different reasons for it, but wealth is being kept largely within one group. However, that's changing.
Yes.
So opportunities here, but it's not anywhere near equal.
Yes, it's true. I've been thinking in all the countries it's like this, like here in the United States, because if you don't have money, you are thinking all the time when you are a child, oh my gosh, all my life is like these poor people. I can go to the school, just my parents doesn't have money, so this life is really terrible. You know what I mean? In Colombia, it's the same thing like here, you know. But this country is like a potential around the world, right? So they have like a more sound because if something happened really bad here, all the country knows about the United States, you know what I mean? So, but the history can change, you know. You told us, you are like a one example because you change your life. You are like a one example for all of us, you know. So, Mr. Terry,
thank you.
Thank you so much for inspire to my YouTubers. It's really cool to be here for talking about these items. It was really cool to inspire other people about your history, about your work, about your work, about the different things. So thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome. And there are many opportunities. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do. I've been told I can't do this and I can't do that. And there are some things I can't do, which is true. However, you follow your goal. You have set your goal for yourself and follow it, and you'll achieve it.
It's true. Thank you, Mr. Terry. Lo que estaba tratando de preguntarle o de hablar en la última pregunta fue que me dijera como un mensaje acerca del racismo, de los problemas de racismo que se viven aquí y en todos los países. Y él dice que todo depende del control, de pronto del manejo del dinero. La gente si nace de pronto en un ambiente donde no hay mucho dinero, donde se ve muchísimo la pobreza, es muy difícil que puedan cambiar como ese entorno. Entonces, si la gente negra cree que no tiene oportunidades, entonces se quedan como en ese entorno, no cambian, y entonces básicamente nosotros aquí somos vecinos de un barrio que es muy pobre y ellos se mezclan entre ellos mismos, no ven otro mundo y se quedan como inmergidos en la tristeza, en que nada va a cambiar. Entonces que básicamente todo viene pues del control del dinero o de las oportunidades con las que nazcas, pero que siempre tú puedes cambiar ese pensamiento. Lo dijo ahorita a lo último, tú puedes cambiar como la historia, tú la puedes mejorar. Básicamente él es un ejemplo y le estoy agradeciendo por haber estado aquí inspirándonos. Recuerde que en este canal nosotros nos inspiramos para aprender. Gracias por estar aquí y por escuchar toda esta entrevista. Un abrazo, les pido a todos que por favor compartan este video, den like y si tienen algún comentario o alguna pregunta que hacerme a mí o a mi jefe, con gusto la resolveremos y me la dejan en los comentarios. Un abrazo para todos. Feliz día. Chicas, por favor regálenme un me gusta, comparte este video y deja tus inquietudes en los comentarios. Adicional, te dejo la información de mi grupo privado de apoyo en Facebook, Nuestra Vida con Lipedema. Un abrazo.